see, Hyderabad's topography is such that the lakes are interconnected. Okay, so it is documented by Nizams that there were about 60,000 lakes in Telangana and more than 4,000 lakes in Hyderabad alone. Nature can heal itself if we stop destructive practices and foster biodiversity. Community involvement, public education, and being aware of the importance of biodiversity and healthy rivers and lakes can create a sustainable future for cities and in turn planet. And it is very much doable. Well, moving to Hussain Sagar, moving to the vanishing waters of Hyderabad. Hussain Sagar. This is an old picture of Hussain Sagar. And any guesses who built it? Who built the Hussain Sagar lake? The Qutub Shahis built it, and it is named after Hussain Wali. It is built under the reign of Quli Qutub Shah, and it is built by Hussain Wali, and the lake is named after his name. And can you even imagine the stark contrast between the current day Hussain Sagar Tank Bund Drive and what you see here? This is the erstwhile Hussain Sagar, and these are the canals. These are the canals that are leading to Hussain Sagar. Well, it was initially built to meet the water needs of the city, and this water quality started deteriorating when people started bathing, washing clothes, and for other recreational purposes. When the Hussain Sagar waters were used, the water quality started deteriorating. And there are 4 canals that see here. This is one canal, and there are 4 other canals that are leading towards Hussain Sagar. So one comes from Kukatpalli, one comes from Banjara, one comes from Balakpur, and the other comes from Picket. If you see here, the right side picture, the top right bottom picture, you see this, all these nalas are converted into sewage. Lot of untreated sewage flows into Hussain Sagar. And what is the most famous activity at Hussain Sagar? One, we go for birthday celebrations. The next one is Ganesh immersion, of course. So Ganesh immersion, if you test water quality after Ganesh immersion, it is found that it is contaminated with a lot of heavy metals like lead, mercury, chromium, nickel, cobalt, etc. And it is also polluting the groundwater in and around areas about 20 kilometers from the lake. Also, after Dashera, the same situation. Lot of idle immersions are happening, and government has come up with sewage treatment plants and other aerators and fountains and stuff like that. But still, the situation continues to be pretty bad in Hussain Sagar. Next, Gum Cheruvu. Again in news for a lot of reasons. One of the most beautified lake, one of the lakes that attracted a lot of investment from the government in recent years. And Durgam Cheruvu is, all of us know that it used to be called the secret lake. This lake is situated between Banjara Hills and Madhapur. And earlier it was a very scenic lake. There were a lot of rocks around it. And these rocks were about 2.5 billion years old. It is again a 15th century lake built by the Qutub Shahi dynasty. And it used to have a very pristine, clear, and potable water in it. It is topographically located in such an area that water naturally flows into the Golconda Fort, and it used to cater to the water needs of the fort. Legend says that once when Mughals besieged the fort for 8 months, this Durgam Cheruvu has been supplying water to the Golconda Fort without any hassle. Everybody was able to survive, and this is a lifeline for Golconda Fort. And imagine, you can see the picture on the left. It is so pristine, full of rocks and lot of vegetation around. And now on the right side, in starking contrast, you see a picture of where scores of dead fish are lying on the waters. What is the reason? there are a lot of effluents that are being released into the Cheruvu, Durgam Cheruvu Lake, and it is creating a lot of toxicity in the waters. And also, most of the focus has been on beautification rather than river regeneration, lake regeneration. We understand that wildlife, humans, or anybody will get attracted to the quality of life and not to the decoration around it. So you can see how the waters got polluted and how untreated domestic and untreated industrial effluents into the lake have almost destroyed the lake. Well, Taj Banjara Lake. How many of us know that there is a lake in Taj Banjara? Well, this is a 1 kilometer lake in Taj Banjara, and it is being dumped with a lot of construction debris in and around the lake. And I just want to mention this, that a long time ago in 1905 or sometime, when Rabindranath Tagore visited Taj Banjara Lake, and also he went and saw the Durgam Cheru, he got so mesmerized that he wrote this poem. From the distance, though did appear, barricaded in rocky aloofness, timidly I crossed the rugged path to find here all of a sudden an open invitation in the sky and friends embrace in the air. In an unknown land, the voice that seemed ever known revealed to me a shelter of loving intimacy. He wrote this, and he also said that had he not had the Vishwa Bharati to care for, he would have loved to settle down in a place like this. That was the glory and that was the pristineness of our lakes. So here you see Nacharam Cheru. Well, it is not just one lake, it is a confluence of three lakes. Safilguda Lake, Mirzalguda Lake, and Nacharam Lake, and all of them flow into this Nacharam Cheru. See, Hyderabad's topography is such that the lakes are interconnected. Okay, so it is documented by Nizams that there were about 60,000 lakes in Telangana and more than 4,000 lakes in Hyderabad alone. And most of them have been artificially built considering the topography of Hyderabad, the Deccan Plateau. So there were upper catchment areas, and there's water flowing from upper catchment areas to the lower catchment areas. And here, if you see the Nacharam Cheru, it is also a confluence of three lakes. And now from this, the water flows into the Uppal Lake, and from there, water enters into the Musi River. So you can think that if I contaminate water somewhere in Tarnaka, how does it affect someone staying in Vijayawada? Because the topography has been so carved out that water flows from one lake to another. And largely, this has been destroyed by the Europeans because Nizams built the lake understanding the geography of the region, whereas Europeans were not aware of this, and they introduced the canal system, and most of it, it did damage to a large extent the present lake scenario in Hyderabad. So Nacharam Cheru is again brimming with a lot of froth. If you see on the left side, there is frothing here. And this is all because of the industrial effluents that get released into this lake from the surrounding Uppal and Nacharam industrial areas. And the right side you see is the green algal bloom that is totally covering the lake. The eutrophication levels are so high that it has been declared ecologically dead for quite some time. And again, some efforts are being put in to revive the lake, but they're not fully on. Yes. So, is this lake talk all about, grim and grave stories about lakes and what happened to them in Hyderabad and across the world? Well, no. We have some very thriving and important examples as to how lakes that were once declared dead have been regenerated and are thriving and have a very thriving present now. For example, River Thames in London. River Thames in London is a 215-mile long river that flows through central London and Oxford. It used to provide drinking water, vegetation, and it also used to protect homes from coastal flooding. Well, the picture that you see on the left is the current state of River Thames, but this has not been the story all the time. Okay, after the industrialization, there were a lot of effluents and, early sewage practices and early inefficient waste management practices have completely destroyed the lake, destroyed the river. This river, which once had vibrant biodiverse systems which supported salmon and native species like that, have been completely wiped off, and the Zoological Society of London declared the River Thames to be dead in 1957. Well, the story did not end there. If you see a beautiful picture here now, it means that it has been revived. There has been concentrated efforts by the government, by local communities, and private industries, corporates, all of them have come in together. They established infrastructure where sewage treatment plants were introduced. Extensive habitat restoration efforts were done by local scientists, and community education and heavily activism was prevalent in reviving River Thames. So, in 2021, the Zoological Society of London has again declared River Thames to be ecologically active. River Thames is a beacon for hope for environmental scientists and community activists alike. So, this is a brilliant example that says nature can heal itself if we stop destructive practices and foster biodiversity. And this is again Cheonggyecheon stream in Seoul. Recently, this stream is very much in news. There is a study tour that has been organized to this place, and extensively, this project is being studied to implement the same model in Hyderabad. Why do we adopt Cheonggyecheon stream regeneration model in Hyderabad? Well, this river is very similar to Musi River, and also this city, Seoul city in South Korea, very similar to Hyderabad. It has been inhabited for more than 2000 years, and there is a lot of influx of population along the riverside, and this river has also been totally damaged, and now in just about 2 years time this river has been revitalized. So this project has been done in 6 phases, and there are about 7 lakh workers who have worked on this. They not only revived the stream, but they also restored historical sites like rocks and bridges. This is a total 11-kilometer tributary on the Han River, and exactly like Musi, it also flows from west to east. And what is the impact of regeneration? Well, it provides flood protection for 200 years. It supports rainfall of about 118 mm per hour. It boosted biodiversity by 39% and mitigated urban heat island effects. The property values rose by 30 to 50%, and the public transport is up by 15%. So, if they can do it, we can also do it. And Musi River can also be regenerated if we regenerate about 240 to 250 lakes that are present across Hyderabad. Hyderabad's topography works on the ridge to river concept. All the lakes that are carved in the higher topography or in the elevated areas are connected to the lakes downstream. And when this downstream areas are obstructed, or you construct any property there, see, nature knows its way. It knows from where to flow to where it has to flow. So it will take its course. If there is something obstructing it, it will flow through it. So if there are about 240 to 250 lakes, and if they can be regenerated and restored, Musi regeneration is very much possible, and it's a reality. Projects like Thames River and Cheonggyecheon Stream in Seoul are brilliant examples as to how something that has been declared dead and something that cannot be regenerated are back to life again and thriving with a lot of biodiversity, native species coming back and supporting the ecology and economy alike. So this is a possible reality, but we have to come together, put in efforts, and from the government side, government has to come up with regulations and legislations to prevent harmful practices. For example, it has to, a policy change mandating that every sewage or effluent that gets released has to be treated before it's being released into the water. About 70 to 80% fresh water and 30% grey water can help a lake survive, and it can cleanse itself through its own regenerating capacity. And agencies like Hydra are enforcing these regulations, are ensuring that the encroachments or urbanization effects are not carried to the future. And NGOs play a very vital role here. community education is very crucial in any of the environmental endeavors. Community education, spreading awareness, and the very fact that having an idea about the importance of a lake or a river and its own biodiversity and the effects or the beauty that can bring into the human life, that awareness itself can make a lot of change. And corporates can build an infrastructure, fund these projects, and take it forward. And it is not just for hydrologists, ecologists, or environmentalists to play a role in lake or river regeneration. Individuals like you and me, through community involvement, can greatly enhance. We can make simple steps like reducing plastic or participating in lake cleanup drives or supporting lake conservation projects can make a huge difference in restoring lakes and bringing back the glory of Hyderabad and the planet. So, as an NGO, there are many NGOs conducting lake cleanup drives across the city. You can join any of them. We also run a cleanup project under the name Project Blue Wave. You can join us too if you are close by. And finally, I would want to conclude by saying that community involvement, public education, and being aware of the importance of biodiversity and healthy rivers and lakes can create a sustainable future for cities and in turn planet. And it is very much doable.
So we have a question from Miss Pramila Raj. What were our Indians doing for water before Mughals?
Before Mughals, so Indians were consuming water. We had river banks, there were lakes carved out. But since about, see, our existing lakes, we relate to them that are there from 14th or 15th century. So that is why the reference has been drawn to Qutub Shahi dynasties, and after that, the subsequent dynasties have built in, and the Nizams have actually understood the geography, topography, and the natural gravity flows of Hyderabad, and that's how lakes were designed. Probably you cannot visibly see the interconnectedness, but for example, look at Nacharam Cheruvu. That Pedda Cheruvu flows into Nalla Cheruvu in Uppal, and from there it goes to Nagpur, reaches Musi, and Musi goes to meet Krishna in Nalgonda district, and that goes into Vijayawada. See, it was envisaged to build a bus station in the Uppal Cheruvu lake. Imagine what would have happened if there is a bus station in the lake. Already the lake has shrunk by 83%. Only 15% of the lake is remaining. And even if that is gone, urban flooding, encroachments, you know the story.
There's a question. What about small pond reservoirs which are built for agriculture purpose with polythene sheets, say 2000 to 3000 or maybe 5000 to 10,000 square feet? Is this advisable, or what best can be done, or can it be called as small lakes?
See, rivers, lakes, ponds, or in Telugu, if I may say, Cheruvu and Kunta. These are all small lakes and nothing but kuntas. It's always advisable to not use plastic because it will gradually leach into water. It is, it is injecting slow poison. Even if you're using for agricultural purposes, it will slowly leach into the water. And there's something called biomagnification. It enters the plant and we consume the leaves. Even if we don't consume cattle, livestock grazing happens, and it enters the milk, and that milk enters us through breast milk. It is entering babies. So it is suggested to not go for that method, or rather you can create artificial lakes. Hydrologists are available, or you can experiment. If it's a small farm, you can experiment yourself. Avoiding anything that is plastic into this system is always advisable and better, not just preserving our health but also the ecological health. Also, I want to cover one aspect here. All of us know Nalla Kunta, right? Most of us are from Hyderabad. Where is the Kunta? Where is the Kunta in Nalla Kunta? It's gone. So again, Somajiguda Tank. Somajiguda Tank is, there's no tank in Somajiguda, but Somajiguda Tank was one of the largest tanks in Hyderabad. Massive tank is again Ma Sahib Tank. Where is the tank in Massive Tank? It's gone. So if we do not wake up now, if we do not act now, it will be too late to act. So we have success stories. We can feel motivated and save these lakes, not for lake's sake, but for our own selves.
Yeah. And I have a query from my side in the last. You said that the lake in Orissa is a spot for migration for many of the bird species and other things. So once it shrinks or if it disappears, what would the birds, I mean, where would they go?
So this is happening across the lakes in the world. If the hotspots are not there, if the water bodies are not present, their habitats are lost, and hence their numbers are dwindling. At one time, what was on IUCN's least concerned list is moving to endangered and critical list. So this means that habitat loss is killing many of the birds. Where will they go? They will not have a place to go. It's a winter stopover. They will not to escape the harsh and fires, snowstorms or the winds in Central Asia. They migrate all the way to Chilika Lake, and if this is not there, and if this is getting polluted, they will come, but few of them will die, and their numbers will dwindle slowly. That's how the entire ecosystem is getting affected. That's how they're moving from just a least concerned or a threatened status to an endangered status. So their numbers will come down.